This doesn't happen to me often, guys, but I'm just standing here thinking, holy shit, it's finally here. I can't believe that I'm standing next to this bike in Colorado.
This is the Stark Varg, but you probably already knew that. Now, I'm calling this a first ride, although I did get to ride this bike in Barcelona, but it was a pre-production bike on a motocross track, and I was really sick with this illness that was floating around the last couple of years. But now the bike is here on my turf. I don't want to get into the specs right now. We've already got plenty of articles and videos about this bike on electriccyclerider.com explaining the specifications. So if you don't already know that info, I'll leave that in the description. Because you probably didn't come here for specs.
All right, let's ride this thing. So, start up. You've got your power button here. You'll hear the bike turn on. And I'm still getting used to this app, if I'm honest.
Yeah, apologies for the glare on the screen here. I know you guys can't quite see what I'm looking at here.
So I think all you got to do to get this thing going is click it into, your first mode here. So you've got mode 1 through 5. I've gone in and preset my modes. So mode 1, I'm doing 30 horsepower all the way up to 80. So it's increments 30, 40, 50, 60, and then I jump to 80 for 5. So let's try mode 2 to start out here. Wow. I'm only in mode 2. Holy crap. I'm only in mode 2, guys. Okay. Just gonna slow down for a second, gather myself. I'm only in mode 2. That's 40 horsepower. That's half of what this bike can put out. And it absolutely rips, just in 40. Woo! Trails are pretty washed out. Got some crazy rain. Oh my God, this bike's so good. Oh, this is so good. Wow. Okay, so trying to gather my thoughts here. I got a lot running through my mind right now. So I'm just gonna ride for a second. Gather my thoughts a little bit more. All I can say though is wow. This bike is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Having a bit of a moment here. I'm usually pretty quick to start rambling at you guys, but this one gave me a lot to process.
So without boring you with the details, this bike is actually set up for a rider that is 60 pounds heavier than I am. Set up for a 220-pound rider with MX valving, so you can imagine this setup is super stiff for me right now, which it is. But man, already it doesn't even matter because it's a full-size moto with KYB suspension, and it's unbelievable how good this thing feels, even though it's completely the wrong setup for me. Wow. Man, guys, on this trail already, 40 horsepower is all that I need. It's all that I need. It's crazy. I mean, maybe not. It's just, you think about 40 horsepower. 40 horsepower is a lot. It's a lot of power. You just know how much power this bike has to give. And so that makes it feel like, oh, 40 horsepower, what's the big deal? It's plenty of power. Wow. Oh my God, this bike is ridiculous. Oh, this thing's so precise. I actually don't mind the shock as much in terms of how stiff it is, but really feeling the fork. Oh. It's just amazing. You can tell how good this thing is gonna be when it's set up for my weight and the terrain that I'm riding here. Wow. This bike just tracks. Alright guys, so technically this is not my first ride because I did go out to Barcelona to test this thing on an MX track, but this is the first time that I'm riding it on trails that I'm familiar with, kind of more in my type of riding environment, and in a way it's a first ride, but it's just, I knew what the bike was, right? Like, I rode it, but it's been a while, and now that I'm riding it again, I'm just like, wow. Just blown away by this thing. All right, I know you guys want to see it, so let's click up to 4, which is 60 horsepower. Oh my God. Oh, that's just ridiculous. Holy Scheiße. Wow, that is just hard to comprehend, hard to put into words. I'm gonna go back and do this again, but I feel like this is the only safe section that I can run it in 80, so it warns you not to do it. Oh my Lord. 80 horsepower, I'm barely giving it quarter of throttle. Holy crap. I can't even go past half throttle. Jesus. Wow. I need to find some like real open runway for this, but I promise you I'm not even going to half throttle, and watch how fast this thing goes. Ready? Jesus. Jesus. Dude, nobody needs that. Nobody needs that. It's insane. I'm going back to 2 where I belong. 40 horsepower. Now that I'm a little ways in on my ride, I can feel that fork, man. This sucker is stiff. I feel like I'm on James Stewart's Supercross suspension right now. This feels like 2x4s up front. For me, I mean, don't get me wrong, I can feel the potential of the suspension, and it does hold up amazing, but it's just sprung way too stiff for me. But that stuff right there, like the harder hits at speed, my God, is this stuff good. This is an amazing bike, guys. An amazing bike. I will say first impressions on this bike were just, I'm not sure how to put this, but I get to test and try a lot of bikes. Oh my God, I'm getting so beat up on this rough stuff here. I feel like the suspension is just not even moving a centimeter. Oh man. This thing's gonna get resprung and revalved as soon as I can. Anyways, what I was saying is I'm fortunate enough to get to test a lot of different motorcycles throughout the year. Mostly electric, obviously here on ECR, but I get to ride a lot of stuff, and quality did not jump out at me to the extent that it did when receiving the Varg. And it's just amazing when you look at the fit and finish of this motorcycle, the attention to detail, and it's just the small things. This bike is such a premium motorcycle, and it really shows. Everything from the foot pegs to the chain adjuster, obviously this KYB suspension, obviously the Brembo brakes, but it's stuff even like the power selection cluster.
Had to focus here. Give me a second.
Just everything from the charger, the way the charger's laid out. Can already tell for this type of terrain, I do like this Pirelli Scorpion, but in the slow kind of loose sections, I definitely want something a bit gummier. But overall, the bike is just absolutely impressive. It's the triple clamps, the linkage design, everything is just so high-end and well thought out. It's just really a work of art. You look at it, and it's a stunning motorcycle, but the best part riding it is that it actually performs as good as it looks. So that made a big impact on me, I'm not gonna lie. Just seeing the quality of this thing in comparison to a lot of the other bikes that I've been riding, it's so noticeable that this is a really premium machine. And the price reflects that. I mean, this is not a cheap bike. It's definitely the most expensive dirt bike that I've ridden. And you need handguards. I don't know if you caught that, but that tree just grabbed a hold of my front brake, so that's something I'm gonna have to add here pretty soon. Wow, this thing just turns amazing. It just tracks. Oh, and it feels so good at speed. Honestly, this thing just makes me excited for the future, I gotta say. This thing is just so damn impressive. It just feels really good to be back on an Alta type electric dirt bike. "40 horsepower is a lot of power. It's different than a 4-stroke. You think about like a 4-stroke having 40 horsepower, but there's no shifting. It's just instantaneous, there's no lag. So this 40 horsepower comes on quick and strong, and it feels a lot different than you might think if you're comparing it to a gas bike. So I'm not sure how accurate the readout is, because I definitely checked over 5 minutes ago and it said 35 minutes, and it still says 35 minutes, so not so sure about the app yet. So we will get into range. Obviously it's a major thing that I want to test, but I don't really want to disclose numbers and whatnot until I've been able to run it in a few different environments and get a good solid number. All right, guys, I am caught in a pretty gnarly thunderstorm right now, so I'm gonna wrap this video up here. There's a lot more to come. Little thunder there. Yeah, thanks as always for watching. Stay tuned for more content. We're gonna be riding the Varg a lot more.